It really is a fraud, and it's important to note that also the opt-out is not only on issues of alternative sexual lifestyles and gender expression, gender identity, those things, but it's much broader. In Mr. Touloukas's case, he specifically requested to be informed about, in advance about abortion, lessons on abortion, contraception, sexual orientation, so that he can make a decision as to whether to pull his children out.
Just you don't need the mic.
Yeah,
Okay.
just talk about it.
Yeah.
And
It's confusing.
in fact, the Hamilton Wentworth Public School Board said no. We will not let you opt your children out of any of those topics. Not abortion, not contraception, not sexual orientation, not any of the things that you as a parent are saying that you have a right to be informed about and to withdraw your children about. So the whole thing is a lie. Kathleen Wynne knows this, Minister Liz Scandals knows this, and they are cooperating. This is clearly, the announcements by these school boards now were hatched in private, behind closed doors, with Minister Liz Scandals and the Premier. This is all part of the plan. You know, we do want to say, sorry, I'm going to hand it over to the next presenter, which is Christine Liu from the Parents Alliance of Ontario, that represents quite a diverse group of Ontarians.
Thank you, everybody.
Turn it on.
Thank you. No.
Squeeze the cable. Sorry.
Hello? 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 Thank you, everybody, for being here. My name is Christina, C-H-R-I-S-T-I-N-A.
It's okay, just don't need the mic, you were saying, right? Don't need the mic.
Just talk
Yeah,
loud.
just talk.
Confusing with the mic.
Yeah,
So
just
speak
a little loud.
as loud as you can.
Yeah.
Please.
My name is Christina, C-H-R-I-S-T-I-N-A-L-I-U. I'm the president of Parents Alliance of Ontario, and we are parents acknowledge the merits of the new curriculum in many of its content areas. However, the human development and the sexual health content area specifically has numbers of deficiencies that must be addressed. One of our primary concerns is that the curriculum omits and misrepresents proven medical and fundamental scientific facts that is absolutely important if we are truly committed to the protection of our children. For example, the curriculum draws an equivalency between all sexual activities with respect to the risks of STIs. However, it is well known in the medical field that some activities carry with them significantly increased risks of HIV infection. We believe, therefore, that there must be more complete and accurate science-based information provided to students on issues related to STIs. They are serious diseases and therefore must be addressed on a sound medical basis. The curriculum promotes condom use along as an adequate level of protection against the risk of STIs. It is not, as has been clearly established in numerous scientific studies to date. Many STIs can be transmitted in various ways, for example, by hands, skin, and shared objects, against which condoms provide no protection. Finally, Premier Wynne has repeatedly promised that parents will have the choice to opt out their children from teaching they find objectionable in curriculum, which contradicting with the recent statement made by the Peel Region District School Board and other boards. Therefore, we require Premier Wynne to establish in writing a formal process by which the requirements of the Ontario Human Rights Code is not binding to allow parents to opt out their children. We further requesting that the Ministry of Education participate in a public debate, which will be an open and above all respectful discourse between key experts and stakeholders on critical issues related to the curriculum. Most importantly, it will provide an opportunity for all of us to work together towards the implementation of a curriculum that is in the best interest of all Ontario children and their families. We also understand that as of yet, there has been no teacher training conducted or resource materials provided to Ontario schools. There appears to now be a very good opportunity available to us to amend and enhance the curriculum before it is fully implemented across the province. When we're talking about education, it's such a very important issue in the society. We can take one more year to do the more prepare and to make sure it is in the best interest of all children in Ontario. Thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you. My name is Jack Fonseca from Campaign Life Coalition, and let's see if I can work this thing here. Jack, and the last name Fonseca is F-O-N-S-E-C-A. And so it has been mentioned that one of the reasons that so many parents are protesting against the curriculum is that it's age inappropriate and too explicit. And to give you some specific examples, in grade 1, it gets children talking about their genitals. Penis, vulva, vagina, testicles, very explicit language. And when you think about it, what does that mean? How do you get a 6-year-old girl in grade 1 to be able to point between her legs and say, "This is my vulva"? How do you do that? Well, of course, you have to show diagrams. The teacher will be required to show pictures of a woman's legs spread apart in order to teach her how to be able to point between her legs and say, "This is my vulva." So now we've got a teacher who is essentially a stranger to the family, showing pictures of very explicit sexual pictures to 6-year-olds in the classroom. This triggers, for many parents, this is age inappropriate and it's too explicit. In grade 3, it will introduce children to the theory of gender identity, the theory of gender fluidity. That is the idea that being a boy or a girl is merely a social construct. It's fluid like water. You can change from a boy to a girl, back and forth, or anywhere in between. In grade 3 as well, in grade 6, it will the teacher can encourage children to masturbate as, quote, a pleasurable vehicle for self-discovery. It's actually encouraging children to masturbate. In grade 7, it introduces to children as young as 12 years old the topics of anal sex, oral sex, and sexual pleasure. The teacher, actually in part of the curriculum in grade 7, is to help students get an understanding of quote, what brings you pleasure. Now, would anyone countenance, let's say, a 45-year-old man helping a 12-year-old girl to help her understand what brings her sexual pleasure? There are things in this curriculum that parents look at and just say, "This is crazy. What kind of deviant thought about this? What kind of deviant wrote this into the curriculum and expects teachers to teach this stuff?" In grade 8, it encourages children to make a sexual plan for themselves and to stick to your sexual plan. Now again, this is pushing very explicit sexual discussion down to children at tender ages where they might not be having these thoughts at all or consider that they might be taking part in activities like anal sex. But once you introduce it, what happens? Curiosity, children become curious, they start looking into it, maybe they start thinking about it, obsessing about it, and they might try it. They might experiment in it. So these are concerns that parents have. Now, the other concern that's been mentioned by many of the speakers here is the fact that the curriculum it's dressed up as scientific. You often hear Minister Scandals and the Premier talk about how it's evidence-based and science-based. It's a lie. That's a fraud. It is anti-scientific. Anti-scientific. Let me give you one example. The curriculum actually downplays the seriousness of contracting HIV, leaving the impression with students that it's not really that big a deal. A section on HIV and AIDS in the curriculum seems to have an undertone of making it acceptable for people who are HIV positive to be able to continue having sex with others. That's not scientific. It talks about the best way to fight AIDS, HIV and AIDS, is to fight the stigma of having HIV. Is that scientific? No, that's anti-scientific. And this is not only not science-based, it's putting children's lives at risk. If they take away from these lessons the impression that HIV is not a serious, not really that serious, you can lead a near to normal life. That's a quote from the curriculum. A near to normal life. You know, they're going to be more careless. They're going to be less worried about contracting HIV and AIDS. And let's face the facts. With antiretroviral drugs, you can prolong your life longer, but eventually you will get AIDS and you will die from it. This is very serious. And you could be, the government, by promoting this false idea about HIV and AIDS, this anti-scientific idea, may be actually endangering children's lives. It's that serious. It's been talked about the influence of Ben Levin. Many parents are very concerned. They see in the curriculum the fact that it's so age inappropriate and so explicit at such tender ages. They see the fingerprints of a man who pled guilty to child pornography charges and a pedophilia-related charge. They see his fingerprints, and it's acknowledged that he was the architect of the sex ed curriculum. And I have to agree with Ezra Levant, the conservative journalist, who says that this curriculum reads like a pedophile manifesto, and it really does. When you go grade by grade and you study the explicit nature, the age inappropriateness of this stuff, it does read like a pedophile manifesto that is trying to lower children's inhibitions regarding sexual matters, get them thinking about explicit sexual concepts at younger and younger ages, and to prime them. Really, so this is very concerning. Now, I want to add something into this discussion that journalists have not touched upon, and really that hasn't been discussed enough, and that is, who are the experts that were consulted by the Wynne-Levin government in the writing of this curriculum? This is very important, because when we know who these people are, who these groups are, and how radical, how extremist they are, how irresponsible they are in the education that they give to children, then we know where they will take this. We know where this sex ed curriculum will evolve. Remember, we're only at a starting point. This is a brand new curriculum, and it will evolve, and it will evolve very rapidly. I have here a memo from a Southwestern Ontario Liberal MPP that admits in writing that one of the groups consulted by the Wynne-Levin curriculum by the government was Planned Parenthood Toronto. Now, Planned Parenthood Toronto is one of the leading sex educators in Ontario. It is the go-to organization for sex education, in fact, in Ontario, and Planned Parenthood generally is the go-to organization for sex education across the country. Our public health authorities are guided by the work in quotation marks of Planned Parenthood. And now, what does Planned Parenthood teach? Right on their website, they have a resource, a sex education resource for 13-year-olds called Anal Play 101. Now, Anal Play 101 teaches that anal play includes such things as putting a dildo or other sex toy inside someone's butt. It also includes putting a hand inside someone's butt or fisting. Now, it also says that anyone can give, receive, and enjoy anal play, that anal play is healthy and normal, anal play can feel good, anal play doesn't have to be messy, and it gives tips on how to go about conducting anal play. Now, this is the leading sex educator in Ontario, with which, who the government has admitted was one of the experts that it consulted in writing the sex ed curriculum, and it is encouraging anal play to 13-year-olds. Hey, what a coincidence! What a coincidence! When is anal sex introduced in the curriculum, in the Wynne-Levin curriculum? Grade 7. How old are kids in grade 7? 13 years old. That's this sex ed resource by Planned Parenthood Toronto. What else does Planned Parenthood Toronto offer as a sex education resource for 13-year-olds? Well, this little pamphlet called Making Sex Feel Good. And what do you find inside of it? But an encouragement, what reads like to any reasonable person, an encouragement to view pornography. And I quote, "Looking at sexy magazines or movies or using fantasy is another way to explore what you like and don't like sexually." So, to any reasonable person, that sounds like it's encouraging the readers of this sex ed resource to view pornography, pornographic films and movies. This is who Kathleen Wynne consulted to write the sex ed curriculum. These radicals at Planned Parenthood Toronto. Now, how cozy is Kathleen Wynne with Planned Parenthood Toronto? Well, here's from the Facebook page of Planned Parenthood Toronto. In August, a posting showing Kathleen Wynne visiting Planned Parenthood Toronto to commend them on their work. They are like this, Kathleen Wynne and the sex educators at Planned Parenthood Toronto. They are joint radicals. This curriculum is radical. Now, where will this take us? That's an important question. More and more parents are researching who are the sex ed experts in Ontario and beyond, who is guiding the curriculum as it's written, and where do they want to take us. We are seeing more and more experts pipe up in this debate about Kathleen Wynne and the Liberal government sex ed curriculum, promoting the idea that we need to introduce pornography as part of the curriculum. The children are viewing it anyway, so we got to add pornography to the curriculum and talk about it. Here's another sex ed expert, Corey Silverberg. He was just on the CBC last Thursday on John Gomeshi's show, the show Q that John Gomeshi founded. He was there to comment on, to promote his new book on sex education for very young children. Very young children, as well as to comment on the Liberal government sex ed curriculum and to defend it, and he defended it very strongly. Now, this man was a keynote speaker at the Oregon Adolescent Sexuality Conference last year in 2014, and this was in Seaside, Oregon. And the workshop that he held was called "From Texting to Teledildonics: Is Technology Changing Sex?" Now he is a Toronto sex educator, by the way. He works here in Toronto. He is close to Queen's Park. He's not very far away. Teledildonics, he said, in a secretly recorded audio by one of the students who was present. Teledildonics basically refers to the remote control of sex toys over the internet, the remote use of sex toys. So his workshop for children as young as 11 years old, 11-year-old children at this sexuality conference in Oregon, were taught about the remote control use of sex toys, and the focus of the workshop was on pleasuring yourself sexually over the internet and pleasuring other virtual sexual partners. Now, Silverberg taught students how to use a pornographic website called Virtual Femme, how to create an avatar. He explained how to create an avatar and press key commands to perform virtual sex acts. The conference organizer, and this is, right here, here's a headline from the local TV news station, Sheriff ready to shut down inappropriate adolescent sexuality conference, where this Toronto sex educator was at. The conference organizer, Mr. Victor, defended the conference and what this man said, promoting pornography to children, taking them to a pornographic website, teaching them how to use key commands to remotely control sex toys so that they can pleasure themselves online. He defended it by saying this, by saying that all they're trying to do is promote healthy relationships. Where have we heard that before? Healthy relationships. It's all over this curriculum. The controversial, age-inappropriate, grossly explicit curriculum that is in this document is defended by this document and by the Premier as saying it's to promote healthy relationships. Kathleen Wynne herself on January the 26th of this year said, quote, "I want to make sure that we have a curriculum in place that gives young people the opportunity to learn about healthy relationships." That's how this man's work was defending teledildonics, remote control use of sex toys, because it promotes healthy relationships. Because you can't get pregnant that way. There is a thread. Parents are doing the research, they're learning about who the experts are, what their beliefs are, and where they will take this in the future. And believe you me, if we allow this curriculum to go through, we will see pamphlets, resources by community partners like these, Anal Play 101, Making Sex Feel Good, by the government's community partners. Those partners are writing the sex ed curriculum. It says, it encourages schools and school boards to bring in community partners. Here is your community partner, Planned Parenthood Toronto. This is where it's taking us in the future. Parents know this. They don't want it. They know where it's going. They disagree with the radicals in the Ministry of Education, like Minister Liz Scandals, the radical who's in charge of this province, Premier Wynne, and the radicals at Planned Parenthood Toronto who helped write this curriculum. Now, I want to encourage, in closing, that right across this province, our goal should be that in every single school board, Catholic and public, parents will proclaim, "We are Thorncliffe. We are Thorncliffe. We stand against radical sex education. We stand against the sexualization of our children with age-inappropriate and grossly explicit sex ed curriculum." Thank you very much, and we'll take questions.
You get a business card?
Yeah. What media outlet are you with, sir?
Toronto Sun.
I'll just put my cards here for anyone who wants to do follow-ups with me. If anyone else has business cards, please.
Do we take a question?
Yeah, please. If you want directed at an individual.
You have presented so much evidence of how perverted these people are connected with the curriculum of education. I mean, kids of that age, so tender age. Despite all these things, how come Canadians are quiet, and how come Canadian politicians are able to use this to destroy the whole society? I would use that word, destroy the whole society. Despite all these things, how come so many parents raising this issue, 185,000 petition signed and given to the Queen's Park, nothing's happening politically? How come the Premier is...
Yeah, let
is there any way...